Once there was nothing but a vast ocean. From it, a pyramid called Benben rose. With Benben was a lotus flower, and the god Ra appeared, bringing light to the world. Ra created the first gods, Shu of the air and Tefnut of the rain. They dove into the ocean to explore. Worried when they didn't return quickly, Ra sent a helper to find them. They came back safely. From the tears of joy that Ra shed, humans were born. Then their kids made Geb, god of earth, and Nut, goddess of the sky. So the sky and earth appeared. Ra ruled all and was called the first Pharaoh. He blessed Egypt with the Nile River and bestowed upon it animals like oxen and lions. But fearing his grandkids would overthrow him, he told the sky and earth not to have kids. They didn't listen and had Isis, Neft, Seth, and Osiris. Osiris replaced Ra as king, but his rule wasn't safe. Seth wanted power too. Thus, the story of Egyptian gods began. After replacing Ra, Osiris ruled. He married Isis and brought peace and progress. He taught people farming, crafting, and making bread. He made laws for order. Egypt grew under kind Osiris, but Osiris had a jealous brother, Seth, from a dry, barren land. Upset by Osiris's success and betrayal, Seth planned revenge. At a big party, Seth tricked Osiris into a coffin and threw it in the Nile. Sad Isis cried, causing Nile floods. Isis and her sister Nephthys searched for Osiris. When she found him, Seth broke his body into 42 parts. Isis, with Anubis's help, gathered them. They mummified Osiris, and with magic, Isis brought him back. But now, Osiris would rule only the dead world. Osiris came back to life and had a son with Isis named Horus. Horus promised to beat Seth, who had unfairly taken the throne. Horus versus Seth, known for chaos, killed Osiris, Egypt's top god. Seth became king, causing many problems. But Osiris and Isis had a son named Horus, a bird god. It was said Horus would be king, ending Seth's dark rule. When Horus grew up, he wanted his rightful place as king. The gods held a meeting, led by the sun god Ra, to decide the next ruler. Horus and Seth kept battling. Seth protected Ra from a sky serpent, so Ra liked him. Seth dared Horus to a contest. They would turn into hippos and stay underwater for 3 months. Horus's mom, Isis, could have killed Seth, but she felt sorry for him. Angry, Horus hurt his own mom. But Thoth, the smart god, saved her by giving her a cow head. The fights between Seth and Horus lasted years. In one fight, Seth blinded Horus, but Hathor, the love goddess, healed him. The god judges wanted peace. Seth, pretending to be nice, invited Horus over. That night, Seth tried to hurt Horus to make him unfit to rule, but Horus stopped him. Wanting payback, Horus and Isis tricked Seth. They put special seeds in lettuce, which Seth ate. This weakened Seth. A gold circle appeared on his head, which Thoth took for himself. After 80 years of conflict, the gods made Horus king. Isis was thrilled her son became king like his dad, Osiris. Seth's new job was to join Ra in the sky. When he yelled, it sounded like thunder. Horus began ruling Egypt, and future kings were said to be related to him. Ra and his journey across the sky. In ancient Egyptian stories, Ra was the sun god, often shown as a man with a falcon's head and a bright sun above it. Even though Ra was the mightiest god, age began to slow him down. Feeling tired, he chose to leave power on earth and take his place in the sky. Ra was deeply respected and was seen as a hero. His main job? Push away the night and bring the day. Every day on a boat that looked like the sun, he'd sail across the sky, making everything bright. But as the day ended, Ra's boat dipped into the sea, starting its journey in the underworld. This underworld had 12 areas, like 12 gates, and Ra spent an hour at each one. In one of these gates lived Osiris, the boss of the underworld. Ra would always stop by to say hi. But the underworld wasn't just friendly visits. A mean snake named Apophis often attacked Ra. This snake wanted to wreck Ra's boat and once even swallowed it whole. For a short time, the world went dark. People say this was like a solar eclipse. Thankfully, Apophis couldn't keep Ra down and spat him out. Later, Set, another god, joined Ra on his boat trips. After losing a big fight over who should be king, Set was told to help Ra. Now, with Set on board, Ra's journeys got safer, since Set was great at fighting off Apophis. People all over Egypt loved and prayed to Ra. In Heliopolis, a big city, he was super famous. Some stories mixed Ra with other gods, creating names like Amun-Ra, Even kings used Ra's name. A king named Ramses? His name really means sun god's son, showing his close bond to Ra. The mystery of Anubis. Anubis had the head of a jackal and was all about life after death. He's one of Egypt's oldest gods, so his story changed over time. Once the top god of death, that role later went to Osiris. Besides being linked to death, Anubis was in charge of mummies. When someone died and was being turned into a mummy, a person would wear a mask that looked like Anubis. He was also the guard for graves, making sure the buried were safe. In a tale filled with intrigue, Anubis's mother, Neftis, was married to Seth. However, Anubis was not born of Seth. One day, Neftis disguised herself as Isis and spent time with Osiris. This mix-up led to Anubis's birth. When Seth found out, he was so angry that he killed Osiris and split his body into pieces. Isis found the pieces, and with Anubis's help, made Osiris into the first mummy. Anubis had another big job, guiding spirits to the afterlife. Here, a heart check would happen. Anubis would put a dead person's heart on one side of a scale and a truth feather on the other. Too heavy a heart meant a life full of bad choices. Those unfortunate souls were given to Amut, a scary monster, for a snack. But good, light-hearted folks? Anubis led them to Osiris, where they'd enjoy the next phase of their existence. When the Greeks ruled Egypt, they linked their god Hermes with Egypt's Anubis. Both gods helped souls in the afterlife. This mix created a new god named Hermanubis, especially popular when the Romans were in charge. Anubis was famous in Egypt, guiding souls after they passed away. Bastet, the cat goddess. In Egypt, there's a goddess called Bastet who looked like a woman but had a cat's head. Egyptians loved and respected cats, seeing them as holy. Cats were heroes in everyday life. They kept food safe by chasing away pests and even scared away dangerous snakes. Bastet was tied to the sun. During the day, she'd travel with Ra, the sun god, across the sky in a glowing boat. But at night, she'd become a cat and stay close to Ra. She defended the world from a scary snake monster named Apophis. Everywhere in Egypt, people loved and worshipped her. Hurting a cat was a huge no-no. If you did, you might even get a death penalty. People felt so close to cats, treating them like family. There are tales that if a house caught fire, cats would bravely go in, trying to save the people inside. Some believed that even if a cat seemed to die in a fire, Bastet's magic gave them life again. This might be why people say cats have 9 lives. Because cats were so special. When they died, they were wrapped up like mummies. There are even cat cemeteries in Egypt. Some stories say Bastet had a connection to Sekhmet, a lion goddess. Others believe they were sisters, both daughters of the sun god Ra. Even as the worship of Egyptian gods waned, cats retained their mysterious and regal demeanor. Perhaps deep down, they recall their once revered and magical status. Who do you think had the toughest job among these gods? Let us know in the comments. Smash that like and subscribe for more.